After getting a chance to kind of look back on last weekend, what did you see that kind of worked?
Well, we walked one guy all weekend, played relatively good defense, grinded out at bats, and got some guys in. So just all around, when you don't give them a lot of free passes, you give yourself an opportunity to not have them score runs. You give up solo homers, that's all right, but the free passes are such a big deal as far as giving free 90 bases from walks or errors. And then offensively, we just, we had good at bats and we strung some together.
Is getting out to good starts a big part of that?
Yeah, I mean, in theory, you'd love to do that, but it's not necessarily, getting out to a good start doesn't mean that you're scoring runs right away. It's are you ready for that first pitch? Are you playing like you can and not being uptight or, maybe not loose or engaged in the game. That's my job to get them ready to play. But it's not, you fall behind, They play well early on, not much you can do if they hit the ball. So, we just have to minimize damage and just continue to have good at-bats throughout the game.
Maybe go through the thought process of why putting Waldron on Friday and Luis on Saturday.
Matt, we had been, winning the games he pitched in conference play and in conference play statistics-wise. I mean, Matt's pitched better. Overall, if you take the whole picture, Matt or Luis is probably numbers-wise better than Matt, but lately it looks like Matt's been being able to mix his pitches and if something's not working, he's been able to go to other pitches and Louis, when he's been off, he just hasn't been able to command his off-speed stuff, and sometimes a little jolt never hurts either, and I like the way Luis responded, so we'll see how it goes.
How's Angelo feeling?
Well, if you look at him, it looks like a train wreck, but if you talk to him, he's ready to go. He's going to have to wear some type of protective mask on his face. He'll have to wear, kind of similar the flap on the helmet, similar to what you're seeing at the ones you see on TV now. Says he feels good. He's been able to eat, that's huge. I was worried about that. So it looks like he's kept his strength up, and we'll just see how it goes. But he'll, without a doubt, be available this weekend.
Is this mask like Bane or like a full face? What's the mask look like?
I have not seen it yet. They had some specialty mouth guard that they've made, and then the mask, from the way I understand, it's kind of like, I don't really follow basketball, but that dude from the 76ers was wearing that mask for a while. It's kind of like that. So I don't think it's quite Bane, but it's definitely a protective type of coating.
Did he ever hesitate about wanting to play this weekend, or was he just gung-ho right away?
The guy was born on hockey skates. That's he was ready to play when he was going to the hospital. He was mad that the jaw was messed up and he couldn't stay and play. It's just he's one tough cookie.
Did you notice any more pep in the step of the guys this week, just coming off a sweep where he played pretty well?
Not a ton of pep right now. They're pretty much deer in headlights with finals, and you can tell they've been studying a lot and you get out of your routine. You take a few days off. I mean, we have to, because they need to get focused on school, and that's the part that we really don't talk about. I mean, they spend a lot of time doing that, but it's very important that they take care of that. And we got them out here yesterday, and there's good energy, but you can feel that they're a little bit distracted. You can usually tell by how they take care of the baseball, and I thought they did a nice job of that, so that was good. We'll try and get them cranked up again today, get them up to game speed, and shock their system a little bit, and be ready to go tomorrow.
When you switch up the lineup the way that you do they know that in advance, or is that also kind of a shot to the system thing when they come and maybe Scott's leading off and Jesse's hitting two or whatever?
No, you just do it. And, when you do it enough, they don't freak out about it. And we've done it enough over time here that I don't think that they think one way or another. And I have those conversations with them. I've told them, I don't have to do it with Scott anymore, but it doesn't matter where you're hitting, just have a quality at bat. It doesn't change your approach. It's just maximizing what we have. And sometimes if you don't explain that, you can I got to take more pitches. I've got to skill more. It's like, no, play your game. It doesn't matter where you're at. Just go out there and get a good pitch to hit and smoke it.
Coach, what do you know about Maryland, and what does your team have to do to get some wins?
A lot of familiar faces, tons of experience, and man, they have not hit this year. I mean, looking at their numbers of guys that have put up really good numbers that just haven't hit. And with runners in scoring position, it's under 200, and it's just shocking because they have some quality players. They played better last weekend. super dangerous team. I mean, they could go out here and those guys get it rolling, and you know, they're a caliber that could win our conference, and just haven't played that way. That's a regional caliber talent on that team. Pitching wise, they have some guys that are doing very well. So you look at it and you're like, it just doesn't add up. But you know, again, when you I don't know injury wise what they've had, but as far as the amount of at bats a lot of their experienced guys have had, they haven't swung the bats collectively well. It's like that dirty snowball, and you know, the next guy starts pressing, and the next guy starts pressing, and I think you're seeing some of that. So super dangerous ball club.
Like you said, obviously a really talented team. Do you think maybe for some of those guys it might be a transition to a new coach that's tough, or what?
No, because he's been around. It's not like he hasn't been there. I mean, it's the same guy. So it's, you know, Rob's awesome, and you know, it's not. I just don't see that being, you know, again, when you're not winning, everybody wants to figure out a reason why, and you know, I'm not around their team enough to answer those questions, but I know there's tons of talent there.
Coach, I know you guys take it one game at a time and don't pay attention to the standings, but at this point of the season, when every win is important, how are you making sure the guys are focused on that?
Well, they know. I mean, but again, it's not all of a sudden you're just not going to magically start playing different. I mean, but to just say what it is, yeah, the playoffs start tomorrow for us. I mean, we're put ourselves in that position, so our postseason starts tomorrow, and you know, we're playing for our lives here to even get into our conference tournament. So our guys know that. At the same time, it's not like you can go out there and just magically, you know, do different things. You got to go play your game. But it's one of those things I try and stress to them. Look, you don't let the situation dictate how you go about your business. You know, it's just that's not how you play the game of baseball. You create your own energy regardless of the circumstances. And that being said, for me, it's more of getting them to not try and do too much and saying, when you play under control and play your game like you did last weekend, well, it's there. So it's just getting them to that point.
Has that been harder this year to kind of, I don't know, for them to ignore some of the circumstances? Like you said, maybe they're not as relaxed in a bigger series, so to speak.
Well, I don't think that plays into it so much. It's just, you know, guys get off to bad starts and they press a little bit, and you know, again, there's guys put into roles that maybe haven't been in those roles before, and maybe some of their inexperience are just getting exposed a little bit. But you know, honestly, most of the time, it's guys are trying too hard, and they want it so bad, and they try to do too much, and well, in this game for sure, you can't do that, and then you start it starts snowballing on you, and it's tough, and you know, you know, when you don't have depth in your lineup, and when you don't have depth on the mound, you know, if everything doesn't go exactly according to plan, it can be up and down, and well, that's what you see. And especially when you throw defense in there that's been inconsistent, you're going to get good games, you're going to get bad games. You know, it's just the way this game kind of works.
Is Engelken, is he back at all this year?
He was up on a mound yesterday. Didn't look like he was anywhere close. So I'm not quite sure on that one.
Thank you.
Yep.